everywhere I go, I am told by organizations that deal with people who are food insecure, it is not enough. It's not enough to be able to put healthy food, nutritious food on the table. And yet my friends here are advocating not only a cut, but preventing any future updates in terms of increases. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know, I would say to my Republican friends that you are barely hanging on to your majority by your fingernails. You know, look at the results of last night's election in New York. Your majority has been ineffective, and what you are doing and what you are advocating is highly unpopular. People do not want you to follow MAGA extremists off a cliff. They want you to focus on helping struggling families instead, to be able to put nutritious food on the table. They want us to work together on a farm bill that supports our farmers and supports struggling families. And yet what we are seeing here is what we have seen on almost every piece of legislation that has come before this House, a move to the extreme when it comes to programs that benefit the most vulnerable.
Gentleman from Massachusetts, Mr. McGovern.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I don't think it's a radical idea to want a farm bill that supports small and medium-sized farms, that supports conservation, and I don't think it's a radical idea to insist on a farm bill that doesn't increase hunger in America. And let me just say to the gentleman who just spoke, we can support our farmers and hungry families at the same time. This is not an either-or situation. And I'm grateful, Mr. Secretary, to you and to Deputy Undersecretary Dean for all that you have done to improve food security in this country, especially when it comes to improving food security for kids over summer months and making school meals healthier and more accessible, which is good for our kids and is good for our farmers. And by the way, will save us a lot of money and health care costs down the road. My Republican friends complain about the cost of some of these programs. They don't talk about the savings and avoidable health care costs that result by investing in these nutrition programs. So we can save money by doing this. I also want to associate myself with the remarks of the ranking member, Mr. Scott, and his comments on SNAP. The bottom line is this benefit, let's be honest, is inadequate. You know, we want a bipartisan farm bill, but what my Republican friends are proposing would cut SNAP by $30 billion and then prevent future increases. You know, a little bit of a history lesson here. Before the pandemic, SNAP on average was about $1.40 per person per meal. Then the pandemic came, and Mr. Secretary, you, thankfully, using your authority that Congress asked you to use, and plus some emergency benefits, it was bumped up to about $2.40 on average per person per meal. Then some of these emergency benefits expired, and now it's down to about $2.08 per person per meal. Now, Mr. Secretary, some on this committee complained that you increased SNAP benefits during the pandemic. I don't think anyone here, I don't think, truly believes that SNAP benefits should be based on the cost of a food plan that would now be 50 years old. Can you explain why you reevaluated the Thrifty Food Plan? Did you just decide that on your own, or did Republicans and Democrats in Congress tell you to do that?
In the 2018 Farm Bill, the direction from Congress was that USDA was to consider cost-conscious, healthy diets for families on low and moderate income. They specifically directed us to use the following: current dietary guidance, consumption patterns, food composition data, and current food prices. We essentially followed that to the T. We used a scientific process in calculating the impact and effect on the Thrifty Food Plan base foundation for SNAP, and we concluded that it required an increase.
And what would the theoretical impacts be to holding the Thrifty Food Plan to the cost of the 2021 plan for another 20, 30, 40 years?
You'd eventually have a food plan that did not adequately meet the need of families who are struggling financially.
My friends complain about the cost of groceries at the supermarket, and yet they are advocating policies that will make it more difficult for people to be able to afford those groceries. This doesn't make sense. Investing in these programs, and again, I applaud you for your leadership on this. Investing in these nutrition programs are not only the right thing to do because we should care about people, all people, not just those with deep pockets, but it will also save our healthcare system a boatload of money in the future, also help our farmers. And I thank you for your leadership, and I yield back my time.